Welcome to the Small Steps, Big Wins podcast. I'm dedicated to helping you take control of your life. Together, we'll explore practical tips, expert advice, and inspiring stories to help you overcome obstacles and achieve your goals. Making small changes is possible and can lead to big results. Are you ready? Let's go do this. Hey, welcome. Welcome to another Wednesday Wisdom. I'm so glad you decided to spend the next couple of minutes with me. Today, I want to talk about regret. As I thought about it, I realized that regret is a thief. And if we're not careful, it will steal our entire life without us ever even knowing it. Let me explain. There's a difference between looking back at something to learn from the mistake and negative rumination. In other words, aka regret. How often do all of us, instead of looking at the situation with the lens that there's something that can be learned from the mistake, instead we go over again and again in our brains of what we could have done differently and then hope the situation will repeat itself? You know, regret is a thief, and I want you to get really angry at it today. Get angry at regret, like deep down in your bones. For me personally, when I think about certain circumstances in my life and how I played them over and over and over again, regret set in and it blinded me to the possibilities of what could have been in the future. Do you let regret blind you from seeing a better future version of yourself? Yeah, it did for me. And you know, the funny thing about regret is that it's something that can be really hidden and obscure in your life. You might not even recognize it. Let me give you an example of my own life. My regret reared its ugly head in a number of different ways. So, for me, what I used to do is I would buy something, I would regret buying it, I would justify returning it, and then I would send it back. And I'm not talking about some small scale thing. No, I mean like just about everything I bought, it would go back. It was on a massive scale. And if somebody audited my credit card statements, they would be like, what the hell's going on here? You know, this person has a problem. Now, I'm going back quite a few years. I don't do that as much anymore because I put systems in place so that when I buy something, I don't return it. But there was a period of time where that regret set in and I didn't even realize it. Another embarrassing time was I bought a car and returned it. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but yes, 4 different cars on 4 different occasions. Regret reared its ugly head in that area of my life. And you know, the problem, like I said, I didn't realize it was happening. I didn't realize how destructive regret can be. If you let it, regret will steal your life. And if I'm brutally honest with myself, it stole most of my life. It actually stole most of my life for a better part of a half a century. Yep, I said it, half a century, that's 50 years. So as far back as I can remember, I regretted things that I did as a kid, and then it continued into my adulthood until about recently. So what changed? You know, like, do I still wallow there today? The truth is, sometimes I do, but not so much. And it's a great question to ask. So I did, like I said, I put systems in place. If I make big purchases, I tell myself now I'm no longer going to act. I'm not going to allow somebody to pressure sales me. I don't do that. So if my purchase is over a certain amount of money, I wait. And I've found that my regret on purchasing something big has dropped significantly just because I allowed myself to pause, wait 24 hours or 48 hours, and then make a decision. Another thing that changed for me is that I did hire a coach. Now, what came out of hiring my coach is that I would talk to him about these situations that I was replaying over and over in my head. And here's the thing, I thought it was for learning purposes, but really the truth was I was just replaying them over and over again. And that kept me paralyzed and stuck in the past, which is what regret does. You know, there's research out there that says we get comfortable with the familiar, whether the familiar is a positive emotion or a negative one. And the brain is wired to go to that which is familiar. It takes a lot of hard work in the right direction to change that worn out path, but it can be done. I mean, I'm here today to tell you that you can turn your regret into constructive, positive dialogue with yourself that will move your needle forward and start creating and crafting a life for yourself that is built on who you are, who you can become, and not be built on regret. So don't let regret steal your life from you. So I'm going to ask you today, where are those areas of your life that you are wallowing in regret? Go find them, seek them out, and tell them that you're no longer going to allow that thing to steal your life anymore. I know you can do it. I believe in you. I see you. If I have the power to change, so do you. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I value each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Take a few moments, hit the 5 stars, take a few more moments, and leave a review. If you've got anything out of this, anything at all, please share it with a friend, help the podcast grow. And as always, friends, go make today awesome. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Small Steps, Big Wins podcast. I value your time with me, and I seek to make every moment count. In order to make lasting change in your life, listening is usually not enough. So I want to ask you, what practical steps are you going to put into action today as a result of listening to this podcast? Remember, any step, any action, no matter how small, starts your journey to a big win. And if you're not sure where to get started, check out my website, personalcoachfinder.com, and find someone who can help. Remember, life doesn't get better by chance, it gets better by choice. Take small steps today and make your life awesome, friends.